Prof. Gyampo, please.
And that's for the students.
You see, you have gone to bring 3 lawyers here, and they are talking law, and
we have a professor who is teaching students.
They are talking law and law. So they've taken all the time.
But to the understanding of all of us,
I should go and study law. I would never study law.
Because you are a law to yourself.
I would never study law, so that I should come.
Oh, you have a legal man.
Martin will call me a genius. I will not.
All your
But honorable is junior here, but parliament and constitution, you can educate me.
Look, we will call you.
I will not study law. You are not to work for me.
No, but you have a legal mind.
Okay. He has a legal mind. Indeed.
But no, if he's not, his opinions will not carry weight.
Oh, please. Who wrote the constitution that you interpret? Ghana Bar Association didn't boycott it. But let me make my. You see, I don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about.
Prof, you continue to be my junior because you came to meet me in Lagos.
Well, it's okay.
Now you have got it.
When I was as a president,
I see.
I won't talk about the law, but I want to talk about the conduct of the High Court judge. Okay, the conduct of the High Court judge. I'm wondering when he was appointed, who appointed him. I mean, some of the issues that I had been discussed at the Supreme Court. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I kept wondering about how can a judge behave like this? Why won't you give people a fair hearing? And then why will you want to have your judgment overturned in this manner? Why would you want the Supreme Court to direct you or to let you to expose a certain incompetence, on your part? And I think that judge, if he did this purely for partisan reasons, then he should bow down his head in shame. Because if the matter is about also the NDC, they want to join. They want to show you evidence. They want to show you proofs. They want to make claims and also provide justifications for why they think certain things, why they think the way they think, and you prevented them. Then you are setting up yourself for the kind of things, this particular thing that has happened. And I'm sure that tomorrow, if he sits and do an introspection, he would realize that he goofed terribly. And I would appeal to judges that regardless of whoever appointed you, when you are confronted with issues like this, you just look at your own practices and then law, and then interpret and give judgments in a manner that ensures that people would not run to the apex court just for the purposes of ridiculing and setting aside a judgment that you may have given. And the other issue I want to look at again is also about the conduct of the EC officials at the collation centers.
Right.
I thought that they were supposed to be just arbiters trying to bring people together, just doing their work. But I saw the banter, and then the firm is saying the EC official was insisting that some falsified pink sheet should be added at all costs, and it led to unnecessary banter. And I was just looking at the body language of that particular EC banter, EC official. What was the name? I thought that the body language, the comportment, and the way he was bantering was not supposed to be the character and the attitude of an independent arbiter. He clearly looked like somebody who had taken a certain position or a certain stance. But you cannot be an EC official if you go into such arrangement and show clearly that per your utterances and your conduct and body language, you are already biased. I mean, it does not augur well for acceptability of whatever outcome the electoral processes could be. And so we should begin to look and rethink the caliber of people we appoint as EC officials, okay? I'm not even looking at. I mean, I know people have issues with those at the top echelons, of the commission. But below them, we should also be thinking about the caliber of people we recruit. There. So if you go to Nigeria, when Professor Jega was their chair of their interim of the electoral commission, he looked at a certain caliber of people that he sought to work with. Okay, and these were people whose integrity, people whose firmness and fairness could not be questioned. But it appears that when it comes to us, anybody, I went to my hometown to go and vote, and then I was looking for a nephew's wife to leave something with. I said, "Oh, me Juma wo yisi how?" And then I just questioned myself, but how can this lady be working, at that place? Because I knew of her. I mean, per my own judgment, I didn't think she had what it takes to do the kind of work that she claimed she was being asked to do. And so, if you have such people there working, at the EC, and when things are heated like this, they clearly make utterances and they go about their comportment in a manner that gives them, out as people who are already biased, then it becomes a bit problematic. So let us, as a people, rethink the caliber of people we appoint to staff the election management body. So it should be a total review of especially also about their temporary staff. Okay, the temporary staff that they recruit. You have people, all manner of people recruited, and you wonder whether they were clearly, they were seriously trained, and they clearly had what, they clearly have what it takes to function as temporary staff of the commission. It doesn't help. But maybe the last take on this particular matter is about, I've shown my admiration for Justice Gabriel, for a man, the way and manner. And then, the entire bench yesterday, the way and manner they went about things. And somebody told me that, look, if it had been another judge, things would have been different. Because in our jurisprudence, you can always find a law to back whatever useless decision you take. Okay? So it could have been different. And I think I admire his courage and the way and manner they went about things. And then also, the way and manner they handled this allegation of bias on the part of the High Court judge. Another judge would have arrogantly dismissed that allegation of bias. But he said that, well, fine. So other judges or another judge sitting or chairing would have arrogantly dismissed that allegation of bias. But he said that, tomorrow when the matter comes, you would not even be required to sit on that particular matter. I thought it was a clever way of ensuring that the matter is heard in a manner that ensures that the outcome is accepted by all parties. But the other thing is that maybe gleaning from what you guys are saying, and especially my senior and the peer could be what he just said, maybe the bench could have gone ahead to make things a bit clearer. That even though we've said this, make sure that A, B, C, D are also done. And you are saying that if you are a father and your child comes to you to ask of A, you give him A. But me, as a proactive father, if I give A and I believe that A would definitely require B, I'll give you B and C.
No, there is also the legal position that the Supreme Court will not give a declaration in a vacuum.
Well, but the point is that, as you rightly said,
if you're before your father and you are there empty hands, you see, so you must ask for. And in fact...
Yeah, but so they ask for one.
Listen, I always refer you to the Bible. It says, seek, and there shall be given.
Well...
So if you don't seek,
well, but there are times you ask God for one thing and he gives you other things. Okay, so my point is that...
God himself tells you, seek.
Oh, you see, so but now, as you rightly indicated, even though people can infer, there are people who may also want to be mischievous. And they would want to...
Are we all not mischievous?
Well, not all of us. They may want to say that, because there were no direct orders for XYZ to happen. They may want to interpret things there. So if it is possible, let them go, lawyers go back to court to seek clarity on some of these things so that I do not see how the Electoral Commission will continue or to maintain the gazette that had already been issued. I don't see how they will continue to make, and I don't see how, in spite of the ruling, those who have been gazetted and whose election decision have been quashed, I don't see how they will go to court, go to Parliament and say we are still registered. I mean, that will be contemptuous of the Supreme Court. But I admit that even though I'm commending Gyampo and his team, I think they could have been clearer so that we would avoid this kind of confusion in which we find ourselves. But I insist that we must rethink the caliber of people we appoint and
advise your students that seek, and that shall be given.
We must rethink the caliber of people. You know, Afarijan has always been saying this. You see, the last time I listened to Afarijan, he was not even, people bother so much about how our EC officials are appointed. Afarijan said it's not even about how they are appointed, because everybody would have to be appointed by somebody. Appointees will not come from the moon. But he's talking about how the person is able to conduct himself or herself. Your courage, your confidence, and your ability to want to hold on to your own.
That's the case of Salab as Attorney General. He said it is not the appointment. And we are Ghanaians, and we are in a closed circuit community. So if you want to see who is here or there, you won't appoint anybody.
Yes. Yes. So it's about how the person conducts himself, and that is for me critical. How I saw the bantering between you and that EC.
So that's why the court said they moved the standard from likelihood of bias to real likelihood of bias. It must be real.
It is not appropriate. So the EC heads must begin to also talk to their... EC head should begin to talk to the people they appoint to work at some of these collation centers, so that per their conduct and their comportment and their utterances, they would not give themselves out so easily as having taken a session. You know, already there is this belief that the NDC was going to have a 2/3 majority, and so then some people have been contracted to put some small sand in their garage so that
allegation.
And so you don't have to do things.
1 million of them will not
you don't have to do things. You don't have to do
1 million of such allegations.
But you don't have to do things in a manner that fester that kind of allegation and perception. You don't have to do that.
And in fact, that leads me to the next question, Prof. That point you just made, and I want you to still stay on it, because there's been that contention that could the Electoral Commission have acted differently because of the same perception, or in some cases the reality of the outcomes of their actions that has impacted on how people perceive the neutrality and independence of the Commission itself. We have seen over the period the posture and conduct of some members of the Commission that has raised concern. And now this particular decision that, even though they acted on a court order, we're seeing how things are playing out. Does that concern you?
Well, I'm worried. I think that first, I don't know whether an emergency IPAC meeting was convened prior to the decision.
There was supposed to be an IPAC meeting yesterday.
It was called and called off.
It was called and called off.
Yes.
So I'm thinking that, you see, given...
But one was being held yesterday.
Yes.
So given the brouhaha, I think the EC could have quickly summoned an IPAC meeting, to discuss some of these things. Even proud to...
No, Prof. This matter has become very political. Because, you see, we got declarations made in our favor, NDC. NPP says they disagree. Then the commandeer, for instance, Fantiakwa North, declarations made in Begro to be brought to Tesano and declared. Yes.
But was that supposed to be the case?
No.
Okay, so if...
No, hold on. Not pursuant to any court order. Not pursuant to any laid down law. So now they are relying on the Tesano declaration. NDC is relying on the Fantiakwa non-declaration. How will IPAC resolve this? You understand?
This is going beyond the IPAC.
Yeah, so
the rightful forum should be in the court.
Exactly. So it has to be a court of law, like the Constitution says.
What I don't like personally is the discussions of the content, even before the court.
You mean the merits?
The merits
of the matter. Yes.
You see, Ghana is the only place we have.
It can only take a court.
Losing election will not bring your life to zero.
Yeah.
Okay. You see, so let us agree that we will promote.
Some people, it's bread and butter for them. But you are a lawyer.
Yes, please.
Because you see, as soon as the last Saturday declaration were made at Reach, the NDC, we issued a statement and said, we disregard all that. So the issue has become political. So IPAC can't resolve it. These are not electoral
political. Then IPAC could resolve, but
no.
It can't judicial.
But will you agree? You and your people, will you agree that the second declarations didn't favor you?
We are
so disengaged.
But
you understand? So you agree, and then this will
the reason why I was calling for a swift IPAC meeting is that you see, it could have set a certain tone or stage for the comportment of the EC officials at the various collation centers. You see, the way they behaved, it showed that
Prof,
they are taking.
Prof, you'll be shocked.
Please.
EC officials.
Okay. No, so the way they behaved suggested to me that they had taken a certain stance, and they were there to execute that stance.
Some bidding.
And I felt that, look, if there had been a prior meeting or discussion, I mean, some of these things would have been tamed or watered down. But it was not good. I mean, I was just looking at the way and manner, the exchanges and other stuff. You are an EC official. And then the allegations of votes being declared under duress. I kept asking myself that where were the security agencies when people were being forced to act under duress?
Let me assist you. Dr. Bossman Asare made the point that some returning officer had a gun pointed to his head before he declared.
No, you see,
when he was asked to point to which constituency this happened, then he started talking about Tema Central. When we told him that nothing like that happened in Tema Central, then he came to Okankwe Central.
No, you see,
your own journalist from here asked him that if he said somebody had a gun to his head, where did this happen? When these processes were covered by so many media houses. So it appears that he's been given some script to narrate. And he stuck to that narrative.
So you see why Bossman Asare and Jim Mensah must go.
I don't want to talk about.
You see why they have to go.
No, these are matters on record.
I'm saying I don't want to use Bossman Asare's case as an example. As a Bossman Asare.
No, but as a high-ranking EC official, you don't feed into such a narrative.
Let me make my point.
Wait.
I'm saying that I don't want to use his case as an example because with the greatest of respect to him, I think anytime he speaks, I mean, he offends people's mood and sensibilities rather than
assuaging them.
He was your colleague.
Yeah, he was my colleague, but I think on a lighter note, he's the NAPO in the EC, and I think he doesn't sound conciliatory. I mean, how do you say that those listen?
This case,
oh wait, I use it figuratively. I'm using it figuratively. He's a NAPO in the EC. How do you say that those asking for your removal do not understand your mandate? I mean, others were removed before you came. And so this one, you see, if they are talking about this, you don't even say something. Just allow people to talk and then you focus on your work. But you come out and I say, sometimes I don't want to use him as an example to make my point. But the point is that if people said they acted under duress, didn't they have the opportunity to report to the security agencies who were providing security at the various collation centers? Were they reports? Do we have any documentary evidence?
Let me give you another instance of EC conduct. EC actually appointed new returning officer for Tema Central last week to do the declaration. Because the returning officer...
The redeclaration was
the returning officer said once NDC is boycotting the process, it thinks that then we should fix another date and come back when matters are settled so that they can participate in the recollation. They say no. So they got a new person to do the declaration. In Okankwe Central, the same thing happened. Baba Sadiq.
They say the Ofosuhini now he had calmed down.
No, Ofosuhini is actually a EC director, Metro director. It's not a returning officer. Okay. But he took over the process. Okay. But when our returning officer decided that once there's a disagreement, he will leave, they actually appointed a new officer for the same day he did the declaration. So that's the conduct you speak to. In other constituencies, they also got new officials. So it goes to EC conduct.
Then that's incompetence.
I am telling you.
Oh, how?
They appointed new people to actually supervise the process. So it was an agenda that has been set.
So where were
for that Saturday, it has to be done.
Where were the original officials? They were the ones who were complaining that they were forced. They acted under. And my view is that you cannot have security agencies there policing election, and then you say
they
that
were all fabrications, afterthoughts. There were comments made as an afterthought.
Because you made reference to something Dr. Bossman Asare said in that interview that my colleague Beatrice Edo had with him. Let's take a listen specifically to what he said. Take a look.
I think everything went on excellently. We've engaged a lot of the observers from the African continent, AU, ECOWAS, Commonwealth, the International UN. All of them seem to be happy with the process, domestic observer, CODEO, and everyone.
How do you respond to the claim or allegation from critics that perhaps you are in cahoot with the NPP to prevent the NDC from absolute majority in Parliament?
You can read my lips. The Commission doesn't care who becomes majority in Parliament. We don't care who becomes minority in Parliament. What we care about is that let's follow the law. Let's do the right things. Because if we want to become an effective society, a law-abiding society, let's make sure that anyone who wants to abuse our system is not allowed. And this one, we as citizens must rise up, regardless of whoever we support. We shouldn't support anyone who engage in abuse of the law. That one will not help us.
So you're not even bothered about the claims that if it had not been transparency or vigilance on the part of a lot of people, the EC might have helped to rig the election?
I know people say things to excite their base, but let's be very clear. It's the vigilance of the EC, the citizens, which has brought us to this point where parties themselves told themselves that, by 12 May, I would have gotten the results from all the polling station because of the measures the EC.
But the fact that people outside the Electoral Commission were able to collate and give their results in time, and it took the Electoral Commission so long to do that, you don't think that that's inefficiency on your part?
No, that's what I'm saying. When people are ignorant about a process, the way they comment about the process is different.
So that's Dr. Bossman Asare is there. The Deputy Commissioner in charge of corporate services.
We had David Adenzikanga, we had Safo Kantanka, we had Ahins Afarijans, and all that heading the Electoral Commission. We saw how they engaged the public and their utterances and their temperament and all that. But I think that the latter-day Saint appointees are not. They use quite some I mean, the tone is not conciliatory, and then I would advise that going forward, you see, you are there as an independent arbiter, and so whatever you say, there is a way to be firm and assertive without raising your voice or having that kind of intemperate tone. And then, like I said, making some of these pronouncements that sort of make people annoyed rather than calming them down, that's not, gives you also away and festers a certain tag that people may have, placed on you in a manner that then undermines the expected neutrality and independence, of the commission. So we should generally look at this. I think the Electoral Commission needs a competent communications person. Okay, it shouldn't be the officers themselves, no, the commissioners themselves communicating. You need, you know, there are some people, regardless of how the situation is, when they come out to speak, okay, they are able to calm down tempers, and they are able to also communicate in a manner that elicits a certain acceptance.
Yeah.
And you have,
in time past,
you have people, the moment they begin to speak, people get annoyed.
I'll send you a CV too.
But in time past, they have had communication officers.
No, they need a competent communication
and you know,
they move him to hold to become regional director.
Eric Jakasu is in
not
now.
people who speak, you know, from their chest, you know, especially there are certain positions you cannot speak from your chest. Otherwise, like I said, then you become figuratively the NAPO in the commission. And
Yes,
it's not,
because that point is some have also supported that. It's in recent time that we haven't seen any public relations officer or communications officer for the Electoral Commission. Previously, there was Eric Jakasu, there was Silviano. Silviano was appointed as an ambassador.
Yeah.
You know, in 2017, she was a public relations officer for the Electoral Commission at some point. That's
You said you sent
prior
your
to the
CV
2016
to
election.
your CV to the EC.
Oh no. But 11,
Prof is beyond. Why? Prof can head the EC now. Prof,
yes. Some people have said
Prof, you should head the EC.
No. You see, don't do that.
those
I will advocate for you.
Yes, Prof, it's your turn.
No.
I've seen those messages
let's
as
not
well.
even go down.
It's your turn. Jim are out.
Yes.
Professor Gyampo in.
You are too qualified to head the EC.
Okay, so why did you not, Prof, I've seen those messages as well, because I'll read them.
Yeah.
The ones that they are talking about. I'll read them.
We will advocate for you.
So, but